Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. Thanks so much for asking. Thanks so much for letting me post our last video. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't tell you last class, like I have a YouTube channel, which
Yeah.
makes me motivated to keep learning, to keep studying English. But
Okay.
but how have you been? Tell me.
Oh, just great. I got to rest this weekend, so that was really nice.
Oh,
I
I'm
didn't do much. I was really busy last week, so it was nice to just like relax and I didn't do anything this week.
what happened last week? Why were you so busy?
I work on Cambly full time
Full
and
time. Yeah, it
yeah.
says in your profile that you are like a new talent, which means you're new here, right?
Yes, I this is my I had 2 full weeks on Cambly. This is my third week now.
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, this is my full-time job for now. Um,
Excellent. Congratulations,
yeah,
especially because some people I've heard like from a lot of teachers, on the platform, depending on where you live, Cambly might be your only income, right? Sort of income, right?
yeah. I
Awesome.
know some people do it like on like part-time, like in the evenings or on weekends. But I don't know if I told you my last class. I live in Peru, but
Okay.
I'm waiting for my work visa
Ah,
so that I can work in a school.
okay. Would you like to work like in a current school there, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So I can't do that until I have my visa. So I'm doing this while I wait.
I see. And can you do it for a living? Like, do you have like a few problems financially speaking, or can you do it just fine, just working on Cambly full time?
Um, I could work on Cambly full time. I could support myself doing Cambly full time, but it's personally, I don't really like working from home. Um,
Really? You don't?
yeah, like
I love it.
I'm
Honestly,
a
I love it.
people person. Like I love like going to school and like seeing all the teachers and my students being like, "Hi, how are you?" And I love being around other people. And so when I'm
Awesome.
here in my house all day, nobody's here. It's boring.
Yeah, but frankly, I'm like that too. I'm a people person. I like to be with the coworkers. So right now, I prefer to work from home, and
Okay.
it's awesome. And I love it. Yeah, the reason why I asked you all those things about Cambly is because one day when I feel prepared, I'd like to be an English teacher on the platform too.
Wow. Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be a really great thing for you
yeah,
because you're
thank you.
because how many languages do you speak?
I speak both Portuguese and English now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but
you're bilingual and
I'm bilingual, and I've been thinking of learning French as well as Spanish. So I already have an English, a Spanish teacher.
yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever had like requests like from students like, oh, can we speak Spanish instead of English? Like,
No. Although I did have a student last week, he lived in the States but was from Mexico, and I could tell that it was like a relief to him. Like he could say a word in Spanish that he didn't know in English, and I would understand. So yeah, it would
that's
just be
great.
like a word here or there in Spanish, then we would keep talking in English.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing when sometimes we are struggling with a certain word, a certain tense, a certain expression, so you can say it in Spanish, and I believe I can understand a little bit of Spanish because Portuguese and Spanish they are a little bit similar, aren't
they
they?
are.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm like looking at written Portuguese, I can understand it like written down. But when I listen to Portuguese, I don't understand.
Yeah. 'Cause I think it sounds a little bit different when we hear it, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So when you came to Brazil, you spent time here. What about like, could you? You told me like you couldn't get around to a lot of places without your friend, right? Just
Right.
that experience that you went to the pharmacy, right?
Yes, to buy a toothbrush.
What a good experience. Yeah, it's a great story to tell, right? It's funny. And
Yeah. Getting a-
I've heard that. And what about, for example, in the United States? How long haven't you been to the US?
I went to the States in August of last year, so 6 months ago,
Months?
for my best friend's wedding.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so and I'm going home this year in May, in 3 months, for my brother's wedding. So
Oh,
everyone's getting married.
oh my goodness, that's awesome. So yeah, you have to go there a lot of times, right, to attend their marriage.
Yeah,
Cool, excellent. Yeah, I
but
bel Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say like usually I go back like once a year
Once a
to the
year.
States. Yeah, more or
Mm,
less.
excellent. Yeah, I think I told you, but it's my dream going to the US. I've loved, I've always dreamed of going there, to have a great experience, to take a lot of pictures, post a lot of pictures on Instagram
Yeah, of
there.
course. Go to all the famous places, New
Yeah,
York,
definitely.
LA.
Yeah. Have you ever been there?
No, actually, I've never been there.
Really? No way.
Never.
Yeah, I thought like all Americans, like it was like normal to go to New York, to LA, like, oh, it's like the usual here. But it's not, apparently.
No, it's not.
Mhm.
I have friends who live like on the East Coast, and it's easy for them because they live near New York. Like they can go for the day and then go back home. But I live 8 hours driving away from New York City,
Okay.
so it's not like I can just go for the day and come back.
Yeah, you'd have to spend a day there, like at a hotel or something, right?
Yeah.
Ah, I got it. Yeah, I for example, here in Cambly, I've been here for a long time, as I told you, but which I found a little bit difficult is when, for example, sometimes I don't have the frequency with the same teacher. Sometimes I talk to someone and someone needs to get out of the platform. So I've had a few, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Regular tutor here.
Yeah.
I've had many, but sometimes they have to get out, and yeah, which is understandable. So I'd like you to be my private English teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I believe, like, since I read your profile, like you've had so many experiences, like at school, right, teaching a lot of people. So yeah, we could learn a lot from one another.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you said like learn from one another, because I love like hearing from my students too, because like everyone has such a unique experience,
Yeah,
and I it always can teach me something too.
yeah, definitely. Like everybody has something to teach other people, right? So
Yes.
which is amazing. I love learning. I love learning. I've been reading so many things from the US, from around the world, and surprisingly, like recently I've been reading so much about things. For example, I've read a piece of news that said like a balloon was flying
Mm,
over the United States and all that. So I was not used to reading like international news. So right now, like English allows us to know everything around the world.
yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Because a lot of like international news is published in English. So
yeah, definitely. There are so many, like, there are a lot of content in English, right?
yes,
which is
absolutely.
yeah, which is cool. And it's interesting because a lot of people from the US, they move to other countries. What do you think that is, for example? Because so many people. Oh, I've traveled. I've moved to Mexico, to Thailand, to Asia. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
I like I guess for me, it was like I was very curious and wanting to know like what else was out there beyond Ohio.
Um,
Yeah, because like there are some states like New York or Florida or California where you have a lot of diversity and people from other cultures and many languages. And Ohio really isn't a very diverse state. So I guess I was looking for more like
but
something different, you
you
know?
you mean diverse in terms of color or gender? What do you mean by that? by diversity?
Diverse, like culturally.
Ah, culturally. Okay.
Yeah, like there aren't a lot, like especially because I was from a very like a small city. There weren't a lot of people from other cultures, people who spoke other languages living in my city where I grew up.
I see.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, because depending on where you live, you are just exposed to your language, right? You don't have that. That's what I mean, right? Yeah, I feel like
Exactly.
that. I feel like that right here. Like I was born and raised in the state of São Paulo in Brazil, and the city that I live in, it's called Guarujá, and it it receives a lot of tourists from all
Yeah.
around the world, but depending on where you live here, so you are just exposed to the same, to the usual. I rarely have opportunities to speak English with people here,
Yeah.
and it a little bit frustrates me a little bit in a certain way because I think the world's so wide, it's so broad, right?
Yes.
And we can learn a lot from people from everybody, right? I understand
Absolutely.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Ohio is the a state? Is it the state, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, I
Ohio
got
is
it.
a
Yeah,
state.
yeah. I
Yeah.
always struggle to remember. Oh, it's a city, it's a state.
That's okay. There's so many states, so it's easy to get mixed up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and for example, when you were at school, like back the time you were at school, what were your favorite subjects?
I always loved English class
English
because
class. Yeah.
I love to read, and I was I was always got really high grades in English class, and
Awesome.
I also in like high school I would take Spanish classes, and I hated it because
I know what I mean. Yeah.
I was so bored. We were just doing the same verbs over and over again, and I hated Spanish class. I was like, and then I went to college, and I remember I was like, I'm never going to use Spanish ever again. I'm so glad I don't have to speak any more Spanish. And now look at me now.
You literally love Spanish, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my case with English. Like when back in the day, I was like in high school. I couldn't stand like speaking English, talking about English. But then, since I got immersed in the language, I could understand like the grammar part, the possibilities of it, what we can do with English. I told myself, okay, oh, let's do this. So right now, I wanna really be an English teacher, like as a full time job. Currently, I have a few conversations with students. So because Cambly, unfortunately, is expensive here in Brazil because of the currency, right? Cambly charges in dollar, and
Mm,
because of that, like a lot of people say, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel, you talk to people, so let's have a conversation." And I do this for a living right now, and I love it. I love it. That's why
yeah.
I think working here on the platform, it would be like another experience for me to develop, to get better, to help people, and people help me also to get better. Right? There's
Yeah.
always something new to learn. Right?
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, I think you have a great like mindset also to be a teacher.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, you're so like open to new ideas and meeting people and
Yes, I am, and I have
yeah,
been reading this book called "Happiness from the Inside Out." It's in English. It's my first book in English that I've
yeah,
ever read, and it's a little bit challenging because there are so many words that I'm not familiar with, and so all the time I have to go to the dictionary to Google Translate it to oh my gosh, what does that mean? I don't know.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I can like expand upon my vocabulary and speak a lot of things. For example, there is a phrase there that says that effort leads to effortlessness. So the more effort we put into something, the less effort in the future we will have to put into it. So I love it. So that's what I do with my English. I study a lot. I mean, even though I struggle right now, I believe like in the future it'll pay off for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
And
you. Yeah.
like being bilingual, it like opens so many doors
Yeah, it
and
does.
yeah, it makes you so much more like hireable, but also just like skilled as a potential employee and yeah,
Definitely.
employers love to see it.
Yeah. But
But
thanks so much for one more class. It
it
was
was
very
lovely
fun.
talking to you again.
Yeah, it was. I'll try to schedule another class, okay? Touch tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye bye.